9, my neighbor would be making that ice cream. Remember the kind where they had the churn and they had to put the rock salt and the ice in there, man, and they had to turn it by hand and crank it by hand, right, the cream, until it got cold. Well, they would see me, man, and just like, I'm going to keep him out of trouble. They'd be like, Andre, come over here and turn this ice cream. Because I was a hellion in the neighborhood, but they saw, like, we going to steer him the right way and try to help him to understand, like, this is community and there's a place for you. And so this is your job right now. Anytime we make ice cream, you're going to be the one that's going to churn that for us.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah, let's use that energy up.
But that was what was necessary. The energy needed to be used. I'm like you. Everybody on our block, each young person had a yard that they had to shovel, they had to rake, and they had to shovel it, rake it, and cut it, right? Nobody else cut your yard unless you quit your job. So mine was to cut the lakes yard, right? The lakes were my next door neighbor. Like somebody said earlier, I had to cut their grass, but as soon as I got done cutting their grass, I had to cut our own grass because that was a part of living there. But nobody else raked the rakes leaves. Nobody shoveled the lake's driveway. I did that. Everybody knew that was my yard, and other people had other people whose yards they took care of. I was the paper boy, along with probably everybody else who lived on my block had been the paper boy before. Some of them was the ice cream boy, when you had to jingle the bells and work for less and push that dang on ice cream cart. I remember we used to love when we would get them folks who were the ice cream boy, because we always wanted to take the dry ice out and make bombs out of it. So the idea of it is we had a work ethic that was given to us that we knew about. We understood that if you work, financial reward came out after work, right? But we also understood if you didn't work, you wasn't getting anything. Because why should I give you something for doing nothing?
Yeah, and that was insight, right? That was recognizing that you are going to make a decision to work or not. Right. And if you don't work, you don't eat. Or if you don't work, then you're going to take somebody else's money so they don't eat. So it became, you was always making decisions. The question becomes, were you going to make a decision that would force you to lay down for a few years until you get your life together? Or were you going to make a decision that would encourage somebody else to lay down, which still results in you laying down and thinking things over a while? And so I think regardless of what the experience was or what side of it, the thought was always that you would make a decision that wouldn't result in you laying down.
That's right. And well said, Sylvester. And so we're going to take our last break, y'all. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about foresight and how foresight can help us to take these proverbs and pass them along generation after generation. You're listening to The Front Porch. We'll be right back.
My grandma always says everyone counts, and everyone who lives with us is special. Like my aunt, who took me on my first bus ride to the library, or my older cousin, who walked me to my first day of school, even my mom's friend and her baby who live with us.
The census informs funding for schools, roads, healthcare, and more. So count everyone in your home, including all children on the 2020 census. It's your chance to help them for the next 10 years. You can respond online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
And we're back, y'all, with The Front Porch, y'all. So we've talked a little bit about hindsight and we talked some about insight, but now let's try to push this thing down the road. Let's talk a little bit about foresight and what we need to do with this to help others who may not even be here yet. Todd, kick it off for us, my friend.
Man, I was just thinking about the number of top 10 basketball players from the city of Flint, man, that never went anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about this proverb that Sylvester's mom, spoke into our lives some years ago, better to say there he go than to say there he lay. Man, I come back and I'm like, where's so-and-so at? Thinking they like about to go to the NBA and they like, man, so-and-so is on and I ain't gonna say the block, but I'm just gonna say that they over there hanging out on the block, smoking them left-handed cigarettes. I'm like, what? So for me, they laying down. And I'm not saying it's a judgment. I'm just saying that's the reality.
Yeah.
Because we know people that poured into their lives, man, and for whatever reason, they still here.
Yeah.
You can say they got caught up, they got trapped, but at the end of the day, they here, and we all know they ain't supposed to be here. They're not supposed to be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It is kind of like a letdown for you because you like, man, when I was growing up, I couldn't wait to see them as a professional, right? Basketball, football, baseball, soccer player, because they was the stuff. And to see him still here, you like, man, I'm hurt.
Yeah, yeah. And it almost like it was a disappointment, not just for that person, but it was a disappointment for the hood and the entire city of Flint. Because we all know how basketball games were packed out when we were going to school, and that was the biggest thing going. The high school basketball and high school football and just high school athletics. So when you saw a person that was elite at that time, the expectation was that they were going to take what they have honed here in the city of Flint, and they was going to take that thing to the NFL or to the NBA, and they was going to take it someplace else. And so when they didn't do it, you was like, man, they didn't lay down on us, man. They didn't disappointed the whole hood because at the end of the day, we all know this. We all bragged on them. When we was outside of the city of Flint, we bragged on them. Hey man, such and such, man, have you seen such and such play? And we was comparing them against whoever else is best across the country.
Absolutely. And so what happens when we have people who have laid down? And what is the responsibility for those who know what giftings they had and they didn't properly use them? What responsibility do we yet still have for those based on the error of their way or the mistakes that they made or even the stuff they got caught up in? So let's not get it twisted. Sometimes you can just get caught up in something that could take away your opportunity. I'm quick to tell everybody that we usually only get one chance to fail.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Let me just say that you're absolutely right. It not always is it them making a bad decision. Sometimes you get caught up, right? And so again, it goes back to what I mentioned during the foresight part of it, is that sometimes it was just important to just kind of think about your surroundings and not allow yourself to be caught up or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so as we think about going forward, and we talked earlier, hey, you got to open your eyes and recognize that you have a responsibility to pay attention to your environment. Because if you don't pay attention, it can result in you being laid down or you laying down. But you got to make a decision.
And like Sylvester said, you have a responsibility to the people who are in your life, who's important to you. Nobody wants to see their son or daughter committing crimes, go to prison, or lay down their life over some little humbug stuff, So we in turn have to teach or emulate by our own deeds and actions positive things that others can pick up on.
So Patrick, you had mentioned about having one chance.